Hey everyone, Blake here from Lonely Wrist. Today we're going to be doing a buyer's guide for the LACO Pilot Watches. Stay tuned, you're not going to want to miss this. Here we have 4 LACO Pilot Watches, all share the brand's aviation heritage, yet each brings its own unique character and features to the table. Let's explore how they differ if you're considering buying one of these. Let's jump in. First up is the 2 from the Pilot's Watch Basic Collection. The Palmero and the Augsburg Blaustund are part of the LACO Basic line at an accessible price point of $410. Its 39mm case sits comfortably on most wrists. At 11.5 millimeters tall, with 46.5 millimeters between the lugs and an 18mm lug width, it is water resistant to 50 meters. The straightforward Type A and Type B dial designs are both highly legible. It's all personal preference. The orange is a fun twist on a more traditional colorway. The blue dial is a stunning sunray pattern. Both of these models do feature the Miyota 82S0 automatic movement, which gives you anywhere from -20 to +40 seconds a day off the shelf. My Palmero is actually running about +9 seconds, and the Augsburg is running about 23 seconds a day, and I'm happy with both of those. LACO is definitely doing some regulation here, so expect that when you purchase the Miyota. The movement does hold 42 hours of power in the tank and has a frequency of 21,600 vibrations per hour. The case finishing is an all-material blasted on the Augsburg and the all-brushed on the Palmero. The finishing might slightly vary depending on which watch you buy and your favorite configuration. You do get what appears to be a sapphire case back, also, so you can see what's going on inside the movement. All the watches use Superluminova, so do expect it to glow well at night. The orange Superluminova does not glow very good, in my opinion. The only real difference here between these two specifically is the dial variations, of course the Luminova applications, the strap, and the case finishings. In the Basics collection, you do have endless options between the case sizes, dial variations, and of course, the colors and stylized finishes. But LACO does give you the option to upgrade the movements for $70. You can upgrade also and add an AR treatment to the Sapphire for $60. Honestly, that's just buyer's preference. The upgraded movement is what they call the LACO 31, which essentially is just a Miyota 8315 branded. And you do get 60 hours of power reserve additionally if you do upgrade for that $70. If anything, the AR treatment is nice and will make a difference every day as you wear it. Since I do have the original here, that is the reason why I decided to not upgrade. And let's just take a look at that now. Here is the Pilot Watch Original Kempton. This is, a part of the LACO Original Collection, which focuses more on historical authenticity. You will notice the engraving of the FL23883 and other more period correct details that kind of set it apart from the basic line. Depending on your specific reference, they will use a hand wound or automatic movement, and you do get the sterile dial, which is, more period correct during those World War II era timepieces. Here is going to be an enthusiast who really wants the most accurate recreation of a mid-20th century pilot's watch, both if you want that look and feel. You do start to nudge up a little bit on the price, and this one will set you back at $1,130 and will go all the way up to $2,500 if you want it aged. Here, mine is the 39mm hand wound, which measures at 12.15 millimeters thick and 46mm lug to lug. It does bump up from the 50 meters of water resistance up to 100 meters from the original Pilot Watch Basic, and that is welcomed. You do get the sandblasted case, and the lugs, of course, you will notice are more period correct and stretch off the case. Again, this collection, there's so many different options you can choose from. Hats off to LACO. You can really buy a watch that suits your taste. I specifically chose this case size based on my wrist. The movement is the SW210 hand wound, which is in the elaborate grade. Of course, that is a hand wound movement with 42 hours of power, 28,800 vibrations per hour. Does hack. You can decorate the movement for an additional $100 and upgrade from the elaborate to the top for $150. Or if you want the top grade with the decoration, that will set you back $250. You can also change the crown position for $96 and upgrade the buckle. I didn't even notice this until recording this video, but the buckle is steel and the case is sandblasted. You can add a sandblasted buckle for $40. Again, that's all buyer's preference here. And by the time you start adding all these things up, you know, you're nearly at the Flieger Pro territory. And if you want a more period correct, historical looking piece, you're definitely going to want to stay in the Pilot's Watch original collection and do your upgrades here versus going to the Flieger Pro. Put all your shekels into one really nice historical looking watch. The Pro line is a little bit more contemporary in design, I will say. And I did spend hours in this builder trying to decide what to get. Here I do have the Stuttgart Pro. So let's jump in the computer, take a look at the configurator, and choose from the options that you have. I'm going to be weighing into some of these options here in case you were stuck as I was. Let's go. So right off the bat, again, you do have the choice between the Type A and the Type B dial. I do like both of them, but for this configuration, I decided to go with the A. Obviously, size, I don't really need to explain this to you, but I chose the 40, and it just depends on what you prefer to wear, how big your wrist is. For a crown position, if you are left-handed, you know, you can use the left crown. So you can wear your watch on your right wrist. Personally, I wear my watch on my left wrist. You have 4 dial options here. The black with the printing, the black without the printing, the sterile dial, the blue with the imprinting, or the blue without the imprinting. I want everybody to know this is a LACO watch, so I decided to go with the imprinting. You have 2 options here with the movement. You do have the automatic or the hand winding. The hand winding is the SW210. The automatic is the SW200-1. Again, personal preference. I do have the hand winding in the original. So for this configuration, I decided to go automatic. This is probably one of the harder choices that you will have to make. The movement that you have, the elaborate or the top. With the top, you do get the upgraded shock resistance, which is also an Inca block shock protection system. You do have the updated balance wheel, the updated hairspring. You do have more positional regulation, so the watchmakers can dial it in and make it a little bit more accurate. And as you can see, so it is a little bit more accurate. It does come with the red rubies versus the poly Rubin. And that's entirely up to you. Personally, I think the top is worth it if you're going to spend this much money. Obviously, you do have a couple options here with the date discs. You do have the without, you have the bright, which is a white date disc, and you have the blue color matched date disc. I decided to go with the blue color matched. Obviously, if you are going to pay for this, it's worth it. I think if you're going to pay for the sapphire case back to get the decorated movement. So let's go ahead and upgrade that. Here you do have 4 options. You can get the blasted case with or without the FL23883 engraving. Personally, I decided to go with the brushed steel without the engraving. And again, it's all personal preference. I do have the engraving, the FL23883, which from my understanding is just essentially designating it as a certified flight instrument, as something that they used to do on the original watches, historically accurate pieces. And so, yeah, it doesn't make sense here for me personally. You do have the option between the sapphire and the closed case back. If you are paying for the decorated movement, you might as well pay for the sapphire case back. The AR treatment on both sides is definitely recommended. It does make it a little bit more legible. Definitely recommend that upgrade, if anything. Here are the straps. If you do go for the steel brush, you can get the bracelet. If you decided to get the sandblasted, you cannot get the bracelet, and that is one reason also why I chose the steel, because I do want the bracelet, as you do see I have. If you were to cut any corners here and save any money, so here we are at $17.40 for my configuration. You could definitely keep the top grade movement. You could close the case back and undecorate the movement, which would save you about $160. That would be a good concession. Of course, the bracelet is $110 if you just don't like to wear bracelets. You know, you can go for a strap. Personally, the strap is super comfortable, and the bracelet does not have any micro adjustment at all. So just so you know and be conscious of that, it is a great bracelet. And I have personally chosen to get the bracelet. There's a couple good concessions. Obviously, you could go down in the size. That'll save you $120. The date discs and dials, you don't save any money. Same thing between the automatic and hand winding. Between the two, the elaborate and top, you know, that's going to be one of the harder decisions that you do have. And, you know, you could step down, but personally, I think it is worth it to go for top. So this is just me, just a couple thoughts that I had as I was configuring mine. It is very overwhelming, I will say, and, you know, best of luck to you, whatever you decide to configure. Bringing this all home, and these watches are vastly different, and we all prioritize different things in watches. LACO clearly does recognize that, and you can honestly not go wrong with any LACO Pilot's watch. However, if I were to choose one, it would certainly be the Flieger Pro that you see that I have built. However, I do appreciate all the options, and this watch certainly shines as a clear winner. And if money was no option for you, which one of these would you choose? I'm curious. Please let me know in the comments below. Appreciate all of you subscribers. I am coming up on almost 600 subscribers right now. I love every single one of you guys. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey. As you know, I am a new YouTuber, and I'm having so much fun here. And as always, never have a lonely wrist.